welcome back. If you are new here, I'm Tisha Oliphant, born and bred in South Africa. Yeah, and if you've always been here, oh my goodness, thank you so much for always embracing this home, my corporate journey home, with your love, with your presence, with your comments. Thank you for not skipping the ads when you watch my videos. Thank you so much for sharing, for liking, guys. When you like the page, it gets distributed for other people who are on YouTube to be able to find this content and join us. So I truly appreciate your support in different forms, in different ways. And those who just comment, yes, truly appreciate. And continue liking, guys. Liking is for free. And if the content resonates with you, please don't forget to subscribe and come back and view some of the videos. There's lots where these come from. So it's only the beginning. They say it's a tip of an iceberg. We haven't gotten very far. So today I come through. I hope you've seen the caption. And as you come in, please do like. I truly appreciate. And if you're already done that, thank you so very much. As you can see, last time, okay, guys, maybe let me start off by saying Happy Freedom Day. If you are a South African, we are celebrating a big day, and I hope you are free. We all have different definitions of what freedom is, but obviously sinamaqabane, we have amaqhawe who fought for this day, who fought for our freedom. And yeah, we know our history, we know what we went through. And if you are unaware, please go search in the archives and find out the history of South Africa. And today, 2024, 27th of April, we find ourselves free, and we are grateful to God and to those people who fought for a freedom. And some had to lose their lives along the way, and others lost their time, their loved ones. So much was sacrificed, and we don't forget that. And yes, last week I didn't do any video. I'm so very sorry, guys. And I meant to at least put up a post that apologizes that I'm not present. I'm busy with mommy duties full time, but I am back. And before last week, a week before last, we had a video where we spoke about extra income, extra streams of income, what you can actually do. And I know that video, for some people, it was like, oh, I'm a bit uncomfortable because where do I even start? I don't know how to sell. If you've never sold anything in your life or sold anything in your life, I don't know how to showcase my talent if you've never monetized your God given gift, But this one, I think you guys should embrace it, should bring your notes, should spend more time listening to your mom, to your sister attentively, because this speaks to your soul, and everyone can actually relate to this particular video, because we are saying how to make an extra income using what you already have, your skill or skills, using your experience, using the knowledge. So we are tapping into your current profession, your current talents, your current skills, what you've acquired over the years. And I'm giving examples on how you can make extra money on something that you already have, on something that you are making money already, but you want to have another stream of income. And before we start, welcome, guys, and thank you for liking. If you haven't liked, please do like while I greet my family and say bonjour. I don't think it's still bonjour because it's now already afternoon. French speaking people will say, that's totally unacceptable. A life of Tandy in Slow Town. Hello, mom. And I take it that's a YouTube channel. And guys, I'm so bad. I always say, I'll follow you, and I'll definitely go back and check you out, a Life of Tandy. And guys, please do check a Life of Tandy in Slow Town and see what she's showcasing. And I hope you are consistent, because anything that you do, you ought to be consistent. If you do it, stop and go, you won't see any results and you'll think it's not working, and you're going to start criticizing. You're going to start saying, your ancestors have turned their back, or God has his favorites. But if that's your YouTube channel, keep to it and just keep on pushing. Even if you don't see the results today, tomorrow definitely you'll see something. Unonceba, which is so Sawubona ma wethu omuhle. Thank you, honey. You're just as beautiful. Beauty sees beauty. You know, Bukelwa check. I was with you day before yesterday and I was saying, oh, these are my kids that follows me everywhere. So I was with you on Facebook, and thank you for following me this side again, or for subscribing on this channel rather. Uzinhle, hello Zinhle, Bonsile, hello Bonsile. Oh, my OGs really are here. Hello, my happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, Mbali, and happy Freedom Day. Ma, the hairstyle looks good on you. Thank you, Ributile. Thank you so much. Someone that is familiar as well. Tembeli, Hlulanga, hello Siswami. Oh, guys, you just, yeah, melts my heart. I'm here with a notepad. Please bring it, Sissy. You'll need it. You look amazing. Watch from the US. Thank you, SR. Thank you for embracing me with your presence. So, guys, let me give you a few examples. So I don't want to be long. My videos are so long and everywhere on all my social media channels. And I know those who are on TikTok, they cannot, guys, people's concentration span has reduced drastically. So when these videos are too long, people lose interest, and I don't want that. You know, other people have data, they don't have unlimited Wi-Fi, and you still want everyone to get the knowledge or to get the information and users to better their lives. So let's see if I can run with this one in less than an hour. In fact, I would have loved it to be 20 minutes, but knowing myself, it will be impossible. So we're talking about how can you make more money over and above what you are currently making in your profession, in the skill that you already have. How can you now say, okay, example, since I'm already a teacher, whether private school, whether public school, whether night teacher, how else can I make an extra income with the knowledge that I've already have, which should be more comfortable than me saying, go learn something new, which we all should be learning new things, by the way, to keep these brains jacked up, you know, fresh, up and running, and also to expand in what we already have. But in this case, let's work on what you already have. You're a teacher, and I've got my notes here, guys, so when you see me looking down, don't think I'm ignoring. Guys, it is very important to have that eye contact, but when I'm reading, it becomes a bit of a problem. So how can you stretch that experience or the skill as a teacher? So don't just wake up and go to school and become a teacher during the day or night time and leave it at that. And obviously that should be giving you some form of income. You should be earning a salary from that school. So how else can you make an extra income as a teacher? These are some of the examples that I came up with, and I ask you as we carry on with this video, if you are comfortable and you are okay, and you know it's Freedom Day, so let us be free. You can put on the comment section what's your profession, or what are you currently, what's bringing you the food on the table, what are you working on, what's your job, your daily job. And let me see if I can, not on the spot, it won't be easy, see if I can come up with extra ways of making income apart from the few examples that are here. So if you're a teacher, you're working in a private school or public school, you can still also be a tutor during your spare time and make more money. And this is much easier because you're already in the field. Even in your class, you're able to identify the kids that are struggling. You already have contact details of the parents, so you can reach out and say to the parent, this child has a bright future. Let us just add, and firm up the math side, or let's firm up the social science side, whatever the subject that you pick up that this particular student or a learner of yours is struggling with. And with those tutoring classes that you offer over and above being a teacher, you can actually make an extra income. But before anything and everything, guys, please clear it up with your current employer that you can do what is called moonlighting. So it doesn't cause any problem and it's not regarded as conflict of interest. You don't want to lose what you already have over something that you want to start off with. So get clarity, look at your employment policies and see ukuthi what does it say when in terms of making extra income and taking on extra jobs. So as a teacher, I would definitely tutor and on a side advertise my offerings in every way, at the school if it's allowed, use my social media platforms to do that, and then friends, family, neighbors, a church if you're a church goer, and say I offer these classes for kids that needs some extra attention, and that often takes a child from a C, a child to an A achiever. And if that's what those parents or the child is looking for, and depending on which career they looking into in the near future. So don't just be a teacher, look into tutoring as a side gig. And another thing, one of the ladies that I know who was a teacher her whole life, and in most cases you find good teachers become teachers for a very long time. During exam times, like I think it starts in November, and just the first few weeks, few days in December, she would mark exams. So as a teacher, go find out what you need to do to register yourself to mark exams. And obviously, it will depend on what kind of a teacher. We know we have early childhood. You will know better. It is your profession after all. Early childhood. So if I don't think you can even be allowed to mark the matric exams. But if you are a high school teacher, do find out where do you register, and I'm sure you will even know before you become a teacher to be able to mark exams. And this lady used to make extra money, so already you can see you can have 3 streams of income. You're a teacher, you earn a salary, now you bring in tutoring classes, you make more money, and not more maybe to just have fun, but more to be able to invest, because in this home we are crazy about building the legacy, creating wealth, and yeah, and not eat and be merry because tomorrow we may die, because chances are we're gonna be here tomorrow. We are here today, so to take care of tomorrow and then mark those exam papers, and you find good it's not only in December, even how can I forget these big exams that are even written during the course of the year that needs extra teachers to come in and mark, and even that you can make an extra income. I'm not sure if when you do invigilator, where you walk around the exam hall or venue while students are writing, if that will make you an extra, or it's regarded as your teacher's duties. You can even find that out. So if you're a teacher, I've already given you a tip. Look into this, and because that's your field, maybe you have more than what I've just stated on this live. And let's move on to if you're baking. You're a baker and maybe you're baking for someone full time. You've got the skill. You took some classes in a culinary school. Don't just stand there working for someone 24/7 or whatever many hours and only earn one stream of income and only earn that one salary. Times are tough, guys. That's why I came up with this live to say, how else can we make more money with what we already have? Also, after finding out if you can do side gigs, try and look into teaching people how to bake. Well, especially if you studied for it, you've got your own certificate, you can show people that I'm not only, the doer, I've got the paper behind what I'm doing. So have your one-on-one classes. They can be virtual, so which means you can even teach people how to bake, even if they are on the other side of the world, people overseas, people in other continents, in yes, in other African countries, even other provinces in South Africa. So you'll have a vast of people, number of people looking into learning from you, from the skill that you already have as a baker. And some people enjoy the the physical classes. If you've got a space that caters for that, your kitchen, it doesn't have to be a huge kitchen and a mansion, just enough space. You can have people, those contact classes where they come in and they learn, because some people still struggle with this digital world. They still prefer the human touch. When I also have my sessions, my one-on-one sessions, but there's people who will say, mommy, can we go for lunch, can we go for coffee and mentor me one-on-one, not virtually but physically. I want to see you, I want to touch your skin and have that motherly love, feel that motherly love. And if you find people like that who prefer that, you offer those physical classes, and you start with your family members while you trial and test how great you are, and you also timing yourself how long it takes you, because we actually do put timelines on classes. We charge pay hourly rates, 2 hours and so forth. So you want to see, will you be able to teach someone to make scones in 1 hour? So use your family members, use the people that are closer to you, and then branch out and let the neighbors know from there, your community, and take it from there. And do markets, your side gig, guys. Do market your hustle. Don't think people will smell Gucci. Now you are no longer just a baker that goes to a Niso's bakery, but you also now offering the baking classes. And do bake for community. I always believe in giving, we shall receive, and this is personal. We're not the same. We can never be the same. But if there's a wedding, the neighbor has a wedding, it will be great. Even if you make a smaller nyana, a tin of scones and send them as a gift, maybe instead of buying glasses for the couple, to showcase and have maybe your tag for your business tag and your details. Yes, maybe it will not be received as well, but it's a gift. You're not charging them. For other people to already see, Uguchi, this is what you do. Start with your community. Let everyone around your area know, Uguchi, you offer these skills, and add there, if you need to learn how to bake, I'm your person, so that they know, which you don't only bake, but you can also train people on how to bake. And with this, you also approach your retail stores that have the bakery section, and we know most of our retail stores or supermarkets have that section, and you sell yourself, and obviously this you do once you build your profile, once you are confident, once you are consistent, you always show up. You don't want to approach a big retail or supermarkets and let yourself down and then destroy your own reputation. When you've tested your business and it's now a bit solid, and this shouldn't take you years, if you are someone who does things consistently, you should in no time approach and say, can I bake for you, W, for instance? It's normal people like us that bakes for about W. Yes, in some most of their branches, most probably they've got people who bakes there, but they do have suppliers as well, because they can't bake everything. More especially the bakery section that have those wrapped, like your muffins that are pre-wrapped, your croissants that are pre-wrapped. You can approach them and start baking, and there we already know that you might need a bigger kitchen, you might need a bigger oven, you might need people to assist you, but do not sleep on extra streams of income when you are already doing that. Instead of starting something that you'll have to learn, something that's foreign, something that makes you feel uncomfortable, which I love, Mina, a lot, a discomfort, but we all are different. So yes, approach those supermarkets and see how you can help. And there's people here who are great in a certain field, let's say you fix cars, or for instance, you can sit, I think I've shared this, and switch on your camera, start with your phone. I started with my phone, still with my phone, haven't upgraded to a camera, hope one day I will, and then share, how the whole world on what to do. If the car is making the sound, this could be the problem. These parts look like this. This is where you get them at a reasonable cost. So basically, you can create a content in whatever profession, whatever skill that you already have, or the knowledge that you've acquired throughout the years. I'm doing the same thing. Yes, when I started, it was my corporate journey where I was going to sit and create content strictly about my career, sharing about my career, the do's and the don'ts, the joys and the sorrows throughout my journeys, what I came across and what I would warn you to avoid, and how I handled certain things. So you can do something like that, where let's say you someone that works in I'm trying to think, take x-rays, there's a word for it, there's a word, it's escaping me. You can sit and explain different types of x-rays and how people need to come through before they eat, if that's the requirement, and how you need to sit when these x-rays are taken, and how you to read your own x-rays. If the doctor normally does read them, but if you are still unclear and you want to get home and look at them again. So guys, create a content on knowledge, skills, experiences that you already have. If you are confident, if you don't mind putting yourself out there, because once you are out there, the world think they know you better than you know yourself. I sit here for an hour or less, and people some assume from what I say, how I look, that people always have their own pictures, conclude that this lady is ABCD, even things that you are not. If you are comfortable with that, please look into creating content. And if once you create content, you should know by now, I've shared before, Guti, most of these social medias, they do pay. I think the only platform that doesn't pay is TikTok. It only pays if you are based in the US, like Denver. But other countries, you will get the gifts, the roses that people get when they on TikTok. But YouTube, the ads that I thank you all the time for watching them. I get income from those ads, depending on the views. It's not a big income, but if you sit and people receive you well and your views are crazy, you might just make a fortune. People have bought houses using monies that they made, or income made on these social media streets or platforms. So don't sleep on that. And once you start creating content, you soon learn other skills as well. Obviously, you should be good with public speaking, confident, and I promise you, other people start slow, and as they become confident and comfortable, we channel even those videos, shows you can always start, and you learn how to edit your videos. You always bring in what's fresh. You look at other content creators and copy what's new, and look at people who's in the same niche, because you ought to choose which niche you'll be focusing on. You can't be all over the show because people will leave very fast. And yeah, content creator, becoming a content creator has its own extra income. So you find Gucci, you are a mechanic, you're earning money as a mechanic. Now you're sharing with the whole world what it takes to become a mechanic, how people can look after their cars, how to avoid certain accidents, or what to do to make sure you get value from your car. It looks after you longer, you keep it longer, you make money through content creating. You start editing. Now you've learned another skill of editing, which you can use to edit for other people if you've got more time, and make even more money. And then, what I want to warn you, it breaks my heart when I see someone purely creating a content and they don't have another stream of income. If you've got a salary and you're creating content on the skill that you already have, at least you've got a salary. There's people who are just pure content creators, and they just depend on the monies or income that they receive by creating content. That is playing a dangerous game, because like I said, it isn't much until you get sponsors, until you get people who want to work with you. But purely from ads, it is something, but it's not something that can sustain you depending on your lifestyle. So I would urge you, if you're going to choose to create content, try and sell something. Even if you sell a product that speaks maybe to the content that you are creating. If I'm a mechanic full time and I create content on cars, definitely I'll try and sell products that are car related, whether it's car perfumes or it's car spares. I will tap into that, so that when I don't make much on content creating, at least I still have earn my salary as a mechanic, and I still earn money, or as a sales a person, or rather sell services. If you are able to service cars, which you should be, then advertise that, service people's cars. So you can already see ukuthi we tend to box ourselves. I don't know why. We only focus on one thing. Ukuthi I'm a teacher, I'll wake up every morning and just go to school. And we never tap and inquire or research other options. As a teacher, how else can I make money? I just want to make sure, Guti, I don't leave out anything. And you can even write an ebook. Hard copy is the best for me, but people prefer ebooks these days on how to care for your car, how to look after your car so that it looks after you. How to make sure you preserve the value in the car by making sure you've got a book that confirms that your car gets serviced at correct intervals. You don't skip your service when it's time to service your car, so that when you go sell that car, you get the value for your car, because we know the cars lose this value very fast, even worse if you don't take care of it. Before we continue, uthi noNomabazi uthi, hi my sister, hi darling, usiqendu siswam, hi mama, miss you baby, I wish this app had a voice note so that I can speak to you. Much love and up. Oh, how we all wish, darling. Appreciated from you. Qendu from East London. Why are you not reading our comments? You rushing beautiful hair. Thank you so much. So look into that and do not sleep on what you already have, and multiply, guys, your talent. Don't bury your talents. We all know those three men that were given talent. If you know your Bible, if you read it, so please do not bury. Instead, find ways to multiply it. And then I want to move on to if you are a dressmaker. I'm wearing this beautiful, beautiful dress, and somebody made this. It didn't just drop on this earth. And if you're one of those people that are seamstress, you're a seamstress, you make dresses, you make suits, you just a tailor, and whether you went to school or you learned from your grandmother, you learned from your dad, and now you are a professional. We all come to you and say, here's my design. Others even go as they go as far as designing for you. You don't even need to bring a picture. They do it from scratch. Make use of the talent. How can you then make extra income instead of just sitting in front of the machine and making the stress and leaving it at that? You can make extra income. I've got examples here by opening a store. You can have a smaller Yana boutique store where you have maybe this dress in all sizes, but just one. People like that. We don't like to be matching with the world and yeah, everyone has this and whatever. It puts us off, and it depends on the kind of a person that you are. But if you can open your own boutique, and if you don't have a place, because even renting is expensive and you're starting out, you can use your property, use that garage that's gathering dust with all the empty tins of paints that you are keeping there. Talking from experience, sitting here thinking I must declutter my garage as well. So clean it up. Maybe start there and remodel it a bit. Put the tiles and then the one section. You open your nice boutique as you're busy tailoring for the community, tailoring for the township or the babs where you stay. You also selling clothes. So you tailor for people and you have clothes that people come to buy ready-made, because we know the headache of having people make our dresses or outfits from stretch, which it needs time. You must go and fit on. Sometimes the person is not even there. It is just a headache. So some people enjoy or love or prefer buying ready-made. So have that. So now you're earning an income as a seamstress, making dresses from stretch. At the same time, now you've got a shop or you've got a store somewhere. You don't go for these big malls that charges a fortune when you start out, but that's your dream. That's where you're heading to. But as a start, you look for a place the rent is not too high, or a friend is willing to say, you can use my space and maybe give me as little as this much, or a family member. And now you've got a store. You put your items there. And some people pay deposit and ask you to make a dress, and they never get to collect for whatever reasons. If you have it on your contract that if this is not collected within a specific period, then consider deposit gone. And then you take the dress, you put it in your store and sell it. Now you've got two streams of income already. And then you can, even that, you start teaching people on how to sew and yeah, and make dresses. So you have courses. There you'll need extra sewing machines. We all know you'll need more resources, and maybe you can't do it alone. Then you need to employ people to help you to take care of the training section. Now you've got three streams of income with only one talent or one experience, or yes, and you didn't have to go now and branch and learn something different. And this video is about that you use what you already have and yeah, and multiply it and expand it. So you can also, even here guys, ebooks, you can write an ebook or write a book on anything where you give tips. You tell us how your journey started, ichi like abantu abanjengoBatu, where they share ukuthi they started in the boot of their car to sell these shoes, and now look, they even built a huge building that now caters for the other sides of a building. And you can even approach like you would do if you are a baker, different uh, what do you call them, clothing stores. and say, I'm a dressmaker, I'm a seamstress, can I make dresses for you? And before you know, so nama big contracts with those stores, and you've got your own section. We know there are stores like YDE, if it still exists. I haven't seen it in years. I haven't had a need to look for it. They had a section for designers, and now you become part of those designers. And I'm sure that's not the only clothing store that offers that. You approach all the stores that have sections where they showcase all SA or African designers or overseas designers, including ours, and we start seeing your work everywhere. And as you earn money from individuals just coming into your store or where you make these dresses, you now earn money by training people. You now earn money by writing this ebook to tell them your journey or giving tips. You can even become a blogger. You know, there's a difference between when you become a content creator, you switch on your camera and you speak like I'm speaking. There's people who don't want to show their faces and they prefer to blog because they are good writers. So you can even blog and write about being a seamstress, tips, what to look out for, how to deal with customers. What do you do if a customer is saying this is too big, you need to adjust the shoulders? What's the best way instead of ripping the whole dress apart or the whole suit apart? You can see you already have about 5 streams of income with only one skill, with only one profession. And as I speak, I hope you already soul searching and looking into yourself, because I haven't seen anybody writing what their current profession or skill or talent is for me to say, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? With that one gift that you already have, or not, or yeah, the profession or career that you are already in. So you can use one and branch and get monies from all direction just with that one. So we spoke about writing a book or sewing guide. I'm sure a lot of people can do with that, or tips. And yeah, and just to go back under content creating, I even said you can become an MC. You know, some people get booked to come and speak in events. So as you solid, you show, or you show off your talent. You People start trusting your brand, they believe in you, and they can hear Gucci. You're not just mumbling, you know what you are talking about, and you are walking the talk. They start saying, can you come through and talking about the same subject in our event? That is just, I've gone back with content creating. So you already have five streams, 6 streams of income just using what you know already. And guys, if you are a nurse, do we have any nurses here? I know some nurses just go to the hospital, private or public, and they just become nurses, and I understand they become exhausted, because that's one job where I look at these poor nurses, I'm like, oh, these people stand for hours, and if you don't take care of those feet, but that's not where we are. If you are a nurse, whether in a public or private hospital, you can make an extra income by becoming a home-based nurse, or offer home-based care. So when you are off, even if you don't have to do it every single time you're off, because you still need to rest. I mean, it's long hours. And some nurses that I know, they'll be in for 7 days and off for 7 days. That's quite enough, but maybe it's easier for me as I'm sitting here. And for them, even that 7 days off is not enough, because guys, nursing is a lot of work. It's a lot of standing and long hours. But you can take maybe 2 days from those 7 days off and register as a home based care nurse, where you go to the people that needs, special attention, the elderlies, that you need to be there and you clean up their wounds, train the families on how to tend them. Some people who are already bedridden, they're no longer mobile and they can't move around. They need a professional nurse to come in and assist. So you're making money as a in your profession as a nurse, and now you offer those services as well. And even with that, I think with all we've already discovered, good, with all the experience or the skill or professions, you can create a content, you can switch on the camera and share what nursing is about. And nurses, we've got different types. So we've got specialists. So there's those who specialize, abantu suffers from diabetes, and they'll teach you your type A, type B, and how to care for someone who suffers from diabetes when they hurt themselves and they have a wound and all that. There's a lot you can share. And then you find good, there's a nurse who's been in different departments. So they've done maybe delivery, they've been in maternity ward. So they've got so much. They not only, obviously you'll only specialize in one field if that's what you really love, or you're still young, you just gotten into the industry. But as you start branching, you now can share with us, whether in front of the camera, whether by blogging, and just keeping at it and sharing that information. You now have home-based care money that comes in, and those are charged per hour, just like the mentoring sessions and the training sessions that we spoke about. You've got your normal salary that as a nurse, as professionally. Now you have your YouTube channel or Facebook or your TikTok where you share, and some people still needs to learn a lot about that industry because they assume nurses are evil. And I'm not gonna sub nurses, not all of them. There's certain nurses who forgot Gucci, this is a calling. You can be the voice, Gucci. The reason why you find a nurse screaming and shouting unreasonably so could be this, without defending them, but just explaining the pressures that you as a nurse come across. But just be careful, Gucci, it doesn't affect your career where you can end up being suspended. Very, very important. We spoke about that to clear that. And when you speak, because they have spokespeople, they don't want just anyone to talk on their behalf. You make it clear, disclaimer, these are your views, these are your personal experiences. They by no means speak about or include your current employer. You have to make that disclaimer. And then you can also start training people. You can also start volunteering, which might not give you income because you are volunteering home old age homes, and just giving back to the community. And we all know not everything will be how do I make extra money? How do I make? Obviously, we are here to make extra money, but it's important to also just give back to the community. When God has blessed you with money, when people have blessed you by supporting you, you should also be seen to take care of a community and giving back to your people. So you can even do that. You can also offer yourself to do talks when there's conferences that involves health and wellness. And yeah, you can even start off a wellness day if that's your area of speciality, and that is allowed, where you pitch a tent, a mobile tent, and you check blood pressures and all that. And I'm sure if you approach the department, there'll be a way of making an extra income. You will know better than I do because that is your field. That was a mouthful. I have the last one. And yeah, you also know, as a hairdresser, don't only focus on hair. There's lots you can do. There's lots you can even showcase if you've got a space in your salon. But I'm not going to talk about hairdressing. I've spoken about making dressmaking, and you can use those examples to expand. It just came to my mind when I see Usiqendu's comment there at a beautiful hair. And the last tip, which will shorten this video. I'm so excited, guys. I don't think you understand. Someone will come and say, oh, hallelujah. Okay, I'll be able to listen to this video. It's not as long. Domestic worker. You know, we know there are careers, there are jobs that are looked down upon where people still think, oh, she doesn't go to school, or it's not my cup of coffee. Make use of what you have and multiply and make even more money than the person that looks down on you. You know, people who sit in offices, some people think they tend to think, sorry guys, I don't know what keeps on disturbing me. Some people think they are, sorry, I need to just clear my throat. Sorry guys. They think they are better off than a domestic worker. And it all boils down to how much you are making. Are you happy at what you are doing? Are you free? You know, it has a lot. It's not just waking up and going to your place of work. Are you at peace mentally, psychologically, emotionally? Are you okay? Because you can sit in a corner office with an awesome view, but you can live a miserable life. You can be in a toxic environment, and someone could be a domestic worker and could be thriving in life and yes, living their best life and nje peak of their lives, go cloud nine, you know. So we some people think, oh, being a domestic worker is still frowned upon, and we've got people who are educated in terms of papers. They went even for higher education, but they're still looking for what they studied for, and therefore they decided, I'm not gonna sit and wait for handouts, because some people are brilliant like that. In the meantime, I will assist. And I don't know why people would look down on that, because in one way or the other, we are all domestic workers, if you think about it. In our own space, it might not be the work that you do professionally. Because even if you have a helper, your helper takes time off, which means you must wash your own dishes. And you've washed most probably before you even gotten to that level of employing someone. So you need to clean your own toilet and clean after yourself. And even if your helper is there, I personally think you can't just let someone be your domestic worker on things that you can personally do yourself. So I always help out. If I just drank coffee and my helper has already washed dishes, why should I just throw that mark? So I don't know why we think it's the worst thing, or some people look down on domestic workers. So if you're a domestic worker, I love you so much. My mom was a domestic worker. May her soul rest in peace. And this is what she gave birth to. And I am so proud, and I love it to bits. And I remember in remembrance or a tribute, I did an awesome tribute to her, wearing the 3 piece on Facebook and just sharing my journey, how I enjoyed my life when I was still a teenager, living with the Jewish family, which is still my family, by the way. And that mother of mine is still alive, so I go to her nyongela, you know, for some breast and from some tips, because if you know about Jewish and investment and being savvy when it comes to money, I go to my mom, and that's where I learned some of these apart from my career, uh, looking after my money from. So love domestic workers. So much respect for domestic workers. I'm a product of a domestic worker, and I'm proudly so. And if you are a domestic worker, you're earning money from your employer. And remember, you need to be registered as well. We're not talking about that, but I just bring this up. Go UIF, so that when you lose this job, you can also go and claim it. If you have someone who's a domestic worker, you should ought to make sure they are registered, and you pay them the minimum wage. South Africa has a minimum wage for domestic workers, unlike when my mother was still a domestic worker. You can open your own cleaning company or agency. We always need people to clean, and at this moment and point in time, there's very few big players in that industry. But make sure you excel in it, because that is your profession, you know very well. And appoint the right people to be part of your team. Don't just go for anybody. And if you're a perfectionist like me, when I clean my house, I go thorough. You make sure you interview, you get the right people to represent you, agency yakho, and people who can be trusted, because that's another issue with the agency as with domestic working, is the trust. People who don't steal. We have valuables in our homes. Some of us leave monies lying all over. I want to leave my 100 Rand note and still find it there, or my foreign currencies that I collect and still find them where I left them. Make sure you have people that can be trusted, and you can even have an app and let people book you, as you advance. So don't just leave it at cleaning people's houses. Start your own business, start your own agency. You can start small with only two cleaners, and as you grow, you and expand. You can even write a book about tips. We've seen it Umbali towards what to do with the home ingredients, like what you can find in your kitchen, your bicarb. We all know what bicarb can be used to for vinegar. You might have more tips, your lemon, how you can clean, and after cleaning, wipe your surfaces with the lemon. So you can have your own book, and maybe your own book will go further than just how to clean up. You can share your journey. You can tell who you worked for, how many people you worked, what you encountered, lessons that are learned, and arm people. Because I can tell you right now, we'll always have domestic workers, because that is also one of the needed professional skill in our lives. So while you write that book, now you're making three. It's already three streams. You're earning as a domestic worker. You're now starting out your agency, and I wouldn't say leave your job when you're still setting it up. And of course, you need to be hands-on when you start a business. But there are businesses that you can appoint, people that you can trust. I'm saying this and thinking, are they, in fact, while you are still working here? So, and your salary, your minimum, or it's no longer minimum, it's extra, because you've worked for this employer for years and you're great at what you're doing. Now you're starting your agency. Now you're writing us your book about tips or your journey as a domestic worker, and you advertise it, you market it. You don't write it and keep it under or in your bookshelf, and we don't get to know about it. You can create a content, sit like this and speak to domestic workers, blog about domestic work, and say what challenges people still think when you go to these supermarkets, there'll be a queue just for domestic workers and a queue for lawyers. No, we all stand in the same queue. We all are human beings. Blood comes out from this when you cut. From all of us, regardless of our profession and status and class, you create content. You tell us how to clean our homes. You tell us how to look after our pets. You tell us how to clean those fur and the urine and all that. You can really make, now this is a fourth stream of income just within your profession as a domestic worker. You can also make an extra income by collaborating with gardeners. When you go and clean someone else's house and you go through that person's garden and you realize, oopsie daisy, this garden has been neglected, or something can be done. We can put some roses, lilies that side, and daisies here, and make this garden to look beautiful. Then you get a person who's a gardener to work with you, and they give you the referral fee. Already five. As you go to clean, you can spot, you search, you look, you identify problems with the garden, or you've got someone who has landscape offers landscape services, and you partner with them. So now five streams, just as a domestic worker. And you can also avail yourself for cleanups after big events, and I know I'm a Jewish child, if I may say that, and they have had their own holidays. There was one that messed up my business now that I think about it. And you can offer yourself, and during those holidays, the whole family comes together. And guys, when we speak about Jewish family, we talk about big families like us Africans. So they come together to eat together, and afterwards, their helper, their permanent helper or two helpers cannot cope with the cleaning up. you can speak to those ladies to say, I'm here, I can help clean up after big events. Already sown are 6 streams of income. When I was young, I did it. I loved it. I would go to the next door neighbors, and when there's parties, and I was just fascinated by their lifestyle, the riches that were there, the style, how the table is laid. I learned how to lay a table at a very young age, and then we'll clean up afterwards, and I'll have like 300 rands those years just by cleaning up after an event. You can even do that, even if it's not just you, the Jewish area, or community, Muslim community, and depending on your area, and you clean up afterwards. So don't just stick with your employer, your madam, and focus on that. We spoke about, cleaning and events, where you can also go and give tips and start get-togethers and speak to other domestic workers and learn from one another. Start your own get-togethers, maybe once a quarter, once every 6 months, and you talk about your challenges, you talk about your wins, and you assist, and you get to know where everyone is at and how you can support one another, and you embrace your skill, and you learn. I used to serve this lady when I was still in the bank, who was a domestic worker, but a very posh, because it depends on who you work for. Some domestic worker employees, or employers rather, because you'll be the employee, are well off. So this lady worked for a well off family, and her work was just to bake. So she was taken to a baking school with a proper qualification. Look into that. Ask your employer if they can do that. This lady dropped off the children at school every morning, so she had a driver's license. So the employer made sure Gucci she goes for her learners. Then she was taught how to drive. They paid, the employer paid, and she had a driver's license. She was driving one of those big cars to drop off the kids. It doesn't matter whether you'll be driving the smaller Nyana starter pack, but I'm saying then you are left with the skill. Now you've got a baking certificate as a domestic worker. You've got a driver's license as a domestic worker. And some employers takes you even further. Others travel with you. And if it's a well-off family, when they travel to go overseas and they're taking their kids and they want you to be there, and they fly business class or first class, they won't put you in the economy because you're looking after their kids. Chances are you'll be flying Gulov. Others go on the cruise. And the first cruise that my mom went to was with her employers. And it was also one of the posh. I was few months old. I have that photo. She told me about it over and over again. So you can never look down on this profession. And if you are a domestic worker, I love you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. Just make sure you spread your wings and you get extra incomes from what I've already recommended. And maybe you have more areas than what I've suggested. You can even start and offer cleaning of couches, cleaning of mattresses. People are excelling in that. I also myself right now am looking for a cleaning company that can come in and clean my couches. So you can do that, because cleaning is your forte. Cleaning is who you are. You know exactly what to look for. You know which detergents to add, what to avoid, what is needed. And some domestic workers, because they work in these posh, high-end areas, they go as far as being great even in interior decorating. Sometimes you get someone to come and clean your house, and you walk in. It has happened to me, and I love things in a certain way. And how this person has turned around my lounge and set it up, it already shows they are just more than domestic working in cleaning and just putting things where they ought to be. They've now acquired more skill, interior deco, you can tap into that and study further and even more. Seventh stream of income, including all others that we mentioned. And the cleaning after holidays or big events or weddings, those are seasonal. So it's not something you'll do every day. So you'll make extra cash as and when those services are required. And those were the five professions that I could look into and say, if you are in within these, look into, branching and making more money. Don't just wait only once a month for your salary. So if you are not working as one of these professions that I've mentioned, you can take yours, sit down, and use what I've shared and say, okay, now that we've spoken about this, how else can I multiply my streams of income with something that I'm already in, something that I know well, something that I'm comfortable with, instead of going out and starting afresh. I hope this video will help someone. Even if it's one person, I would have done my job. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for always coming and showing up when I say, where is my corporate journey family? And you don't disappoint. You come through. And goodbye, guys. And I hope you have an awesome weekend. I don't want to keep this long. Girls, girly girls, I see you. Hello, mom. Love you so much. Thank you again for sharing. Pleasure, Matsidi. So please use that. Information that is not used is so useless. Guys, please go implement, execute, see what you can do with it. You are loved. Mwah! See you in the next video. That is next week, Saturday. And if I upload just a pure video, not a live video, guys, please do watch it and do support like you do with my live videos. Thank you, Ribotile. Love you guys. Keep well. Have an awesome Freedom Day and a blessed Sunday tomorrow.